When you're up against a hostile room of people who don't want to be there, you need real strategies that get results. Welcome to From Hostage to Hero, the show that gives you practical advice you can use right now in the courtroom, boardroom, or classroom. Learn how to move your unwilling audience to one that is invested in what you're saying, eager to participate, and engaged in the process. Learn from the attorney whisperer herself, your host, Sari.
Well, hello, everybody. This is a special podcast that I had not planned on doing because I batch podcasts and I had several done for many, many weeks. And then this coronavirus thing has descended. And as you can tell, or maybe not by my voice, I'm recovering myself, not from corona, at least I don't think so. I came down with some kind of virus after coming home from a family trip to Disneyland. It wasn't the flu, so I have to wonder if it was corona. And then that descended into pneumonia. So I am currently at home recovering from pneumonia, watching what's happening. And I just felt a very strong need to record this special podcast and have it go out on Friday instead of what we had scheduled. And here's why. There's a lot of fear out there right now. And as I really view you guys and gals as my peeps, I just felt like I needed to send you a message of hope and of love and of solidarity, and that was a really important thing for me to do right now. And so what I want to do in this special episode of the From Hostage to Hero podcast is not to tell you anything that you don't already know, but to remind you of what you have and how you can utilize that right now. And I want to bring you back to the concept that you've heard me talk about before, or maybe you haven't, of letting go. We talk about that particularly in terms of letting go of the attachment to winning. And in previous podcast episodes and when I'm speaking live and in my book, I talk about how we can't focus on winning as the ultimate goal because we don't have control over that. What we can focus on is what we do have control over and release the results. And by doing that, we give ourselves a lot more energy and freedom to focus on what really matters and what can really make a difference. Focusing on the result when we can't control it only serves to drive us crazy. And I was thinking about that when all of this coronavirus stuff started to come down the pike and recognize that that's really what we're talking about here too, isn't it? What's so scary about this for many of us, and I'm right there with you, my friends, I've laid many a night in bed wondering how this is going to affect my business, because my business is your business. And when you're not in trial and when you're not preparing, that means I'm not there to assist you either. And so I get it. We're all frightened right now. And here's what's so frightening, I think, about this is that we don't have a sense of control from where we're going to get our next toilet paper to what this all means and how long it's going to last. And that lack of control, that lack of the sense of knowing what's going to happen next is, I believe, why you as an industry are going to survive this much better than anybody else. Because here's what I know about you. Is that this is your daily life. Lack of control and lack of knowing what's going to happen next. Lack of even knowing when your trial is in many cases and it gets moved. And this is what you guys do. This is what you're good at. And I want to remind you of that because this is what you succeed at. You've gone down this road many a time because this is literally what your career is all about, is navigating the unknown. I mean, if you're like an attorney here in Oregon when we don't even have expert discovery, I mean, it's trial by ambush in many cases. And so you know how to do this. I just want to remind you of that. You know how to navigate the unknown. And so what I want to remind you of is not only do you know how to do this, but you also need to let go, just like I've been training you and teaching you for years to let go of the outcome in trial. We have to let go of the sense that the only way that we can be okay is if we know how this is all going to shake out in the end. We know that's not true. We know that we can be okay even in the midst of uncertainty. We know it because we've done it. We've done it many times before. We've been uncertain. We're all uncertain that first day of trial when we walk into the courtroom. We don't know how it's all going to end up. And trial plays out, and good or bad, in terms of the outcome, we survive, and we have survived, and we will survive. My friends, we've got this. We've got this. We just need to remind ourselves. Now, this is a great time to practice what I've been teaching you in this podcast and in my book, to manage your mind. Because we cannot control the outcome and we do not know how this thing is going to play out. The only thing that we do have control over is how we choose to respond to this. So my question to you is not so much what are we going to do, but how do we choose to be with this? We have a unique opportunity to show the world, to show our clients, to show our friends and our family, and the rest of everyone who is in our circle of influence and concern, how to manage this crisis by managing our mind. Because we can choose how we want to be with this. Do we want to be scared, frightened, freaked out, making decisions, hoarding, all the things that we're seeing happening in the world right now? Or do we want to be in a space where we trust that what needs to happen is what is happening and that we can make decisions on a moment-by-moment basis coming from a place of love? You know, one person told me recently, not recently, but years ago, that every decision we make comes from either a place of fear or love. So my question to you is, where do you want to be making your decisions from? From fear or from love? The world right now is making decisions from fear. We've got to fight that urge. Just like I tell you that you always have to go first in trial, that you have to be the one that is breathing for yourself and for jurors, that you have to be the one that is trusting, that you have to be the one that is open and vulnerable, that you have to go against the system because the system wants you to be breathing high. The system wants you to not trust and be distrustful. The system wants you to close up and shut down. You have to go against every instinct that you have and do the opposite, because that's what leadership is. The same is here now, my friends. We have to go against the instinct and we have to go against what we're seeing playing out in the world, which is fear, and come from love. That is our only hope. And I know you, and I know that we can do this, especially if we come together and we work together to hold each other up in these very uncertain times. Now, in terms of doing, because there's the how do we want to be with this, we just can focus on what we want to do, what we need to do now. We can't think about 2 months, even 2 weeks, and sometimes even 2 days in the future. All we can think about is what do we do now? What makes sense right now? And that's what I want you to focus on. Listen, this is an excellent time to take the time for all the things that we've always said we don't have time for. How many times have I heard you say, I don't have enough time to prep? This is your time. Instead of spending this time spinning and worrying, prep for your next trial, for your next case. You might say, sorry, I don't even know if that's going to happen anymore. Prep as if it is. Send that energy out there that you're going to be more prepared for that next trial because you've been given the gift of time than you have ever been prepared for any trial coming up in your life. Stop spinning and get down to business, because that's what this work requires. This is a great time not only to prep, but to study. This is the time to get out the books and the CLEs and look at your notes and really dive in to some of the stuff you've always wanted to take the time to learn. So get up and start practicing your opening and practicing your nonverbals. Get together a video group over Zoom and practice your voir dire in your cases. We will not allow the coronavirus to derail us, my friends. You've been given the gift of time, something that in this industry for sure most of us do not have. So use it. Don't waste it. Prep. Study. And you know what else you can do? You can take this time to put some excellent self-care into play. That's the other thing that I see lacking in your worlds. Lacking time to prep, lacking time to study and practice, and lacking time into you. This is your time to get your running routine back on track. This is your time to go and look through your pantry and really get your food figured out. This is your time to start drinking some more water, getting some more sleep, spending time with your family, reading for pleasure. Don't waste the gift, yes, the gift that you've just been given to put some things in motion now that you've been forced to slow down so that you can emerge from this crisis a better, healthier, stronger, more knowledgeable attorney. That's what we can do with this time, my friends. Listen to podcasts, not just mine, other ones. Take notes. Hunker down. Don't waste this time, because here's what I know for sure about you, and having worked with so many of you over the last 15 years, almost 20 years now. Here's what I know about you for sure, is that you're dedicated. You are damn well dedicated. So don't let coronavirus throw you off your track. Stay dedicated to your clients, to yourself, to your practice. Yes, we can't control what's going to happen. And yes, things are really scary right now, but we can control our mind. We can choose our thoughts. We don't have to think every bullshit thing that happens or that pops into our brain. We can choose what to think. We can choose how to respond. We can choose. You know, it reminds me of, Viktor Frankl. And he was a Jew in the Holocaust. And he talked about how the Nazis could take everything from him. Everything, literally his dignity and his life. But what they could not take from him is how he chose to think about it and how he chose to respond to it. It's the same thing here. You can choose to stay dedicated and to trust that you'll make it out to the other side. Because that's the other thing I know for sure about you. It's not only are you dedicated, you're creative. And we will find a way out of this. We will figure this out. You're creative as hell. You're creative when you think through your strategies. You're creative when you think through your opening statements. You're creative when you think about how to open up your own practice. You're creative. You're a creative bunch. And you will figure out how to manage this. Tell yourself that. Listen, we prove our thoughts true. Whatever you are thinking, you will bring that to fruition. That's how powerful you all are. So if you're thinking, I don't know how I'm going to figure this out, this is the end of my business as I know it, life is never going to be the same, then you will prove that true in your life. But if instead you start to think creatively, how can I be of service right now? How can I take this time and edify myself in terms of self-care and preparation and study? And that I will get through this and that I will come out stronger. That is what you will prove true in your life. And here's also what I know to be true, is that you are a resilient bunch of motherfuckers. Oh, hell you are. You guys and gals have gone through so much, starting in law school, opening your own practices, all of the defeats, all of the humiliations, all of the things that you've gone through. Coronavirus has nothing on that. You guys will survive this. We will survive this. Listen, we've got this. We've got this. We just have to remind ourselves nothing we can do is going to be more powerful right now than changing how we're thinking about this and not succumbing to the mindset that all is lost and it's all going to hell in a handbasket and the world is fucking on fire. We've got this. We're going to take this time. We're going to hunker down. We're going to wash our damn hands and stay away from each other, at least physically. And we're going to emerge on the other side much more knowledgeable, much more prepared, much more rested. And that's how we're going to get through this together. I invite you to join the Facebook group From Hostage to Hero. I'm going to be back on my feet next Monday, which is March, what would that be? 23rd or something? And I'm going to be in there a lot. And I'm going to be available, and we're just going to hold each other up, okay? I'm going to be giving you some things you can be reading, some things you can be studying. Let's use this time. Let's not fucking waste it. Let's emerge on the other side stronger than ever, because there is another side. It may look different than what we are thinking it might look like. We don't know what it's going to look like, but let's prepare ourselves. Let's focus inward now. This is a great time to get your shit together and focus on what you can control. Because guys, we've got this. My love to all of you. Stay safe out there. I'll be in touch.
That's it for this episode of From Hostage to Hero. But head to our website, saridlm.com, for other must-have resources from Sari Delamotte. Read the transcript of this podcast, watch trial tip videos, or download your free copy of Sari's article, Why Jurors Hate the Hobby Question. We're glad you joined us today, and until next time, remember that to lead a hostage to freedom, you must first free yourself.